My name is Naibe Reynoso. I am the founder of Punto
and I am also the co-author of Courageous Camila,
a story about finding your warrior. For me, this book is important for a few reasons. After seeing how my daughter's life was transformed when she became engaged in sports like swimming, softball, and lacrosse, I realized the importance of having and encouraging little girls to do sports. But unfortunately, I also noticed that there was a lack of Latinas on the field. We need to keep encouraging diversity in women's sports, especially for little girls in our community. It is a fact that participating in sports improves our self-esteem, our body image, and our confidence. And I also wanted to write a book that honored immigrant moms, because most of the time, they are the true heroes of our stories.
Hi, my name is Giselle Carrillo. I'm the co-author of Courageous Camila, a story about a little girl finding her inner warrior. Growing up, I never played sports. Not only were they too expensive for my immigrant parents, I also never really connected with any of the sports I tried. But at 25, I had a quarter-life crisis, which led me to surfing and completely changed my life. But sports can be expensive, so my friends and I decided we were going to give free surf lessons to our people, so that little kids like us could look around the water and see a face that looked like theirs. We called it Los Courage Camps. My dream is to introduce more families to sports like surfing, jiu-jitsu, skateboarding. They've taught me how strong I can be mentally and physically if we just remember where we came from. By helping us fund this project, you help us encourage more communities of color to find their inner warrior and to encounter life's obstacles with grit and determination.
Thank you. We know you and your children will fall in love with Camila's journey.
Hi, I think you're muted.
Hola, everyone. How are you? How are you, Giselle?
I'm great. How are you, Naibe?
I'm good. And in order to make it a party atmosphere, we're finished. Well, actually, I literally just bought these like an hour ago, or else I would have sent them to you. Our Kickstarter ends tomorrow, so there's still time to support and pre-order. And I am so excited, Giselle, because we are going to be reading the book. This is the first time we're showing it to the world, so to speak, right?
Yes.
So Giselle Carrillo is the co-author of Courageous Camila, and she shares the name with my daughter, who's also Giselle Carrillo. So there's been some confusion. Some people thought that my daughter co-wrote the book with me, but no, it's another Giselle Carrillo. Giselle, for people that may not have, learned a little bit about your background, even though I've been bombarding with emails about who you are and your background, can you share a little bit about who you are and what your background is?
Yes. So I'm a Latina from East Los Angeles. My parents are immigrants from Mexico. And I was born at General Hospital in East Los Angeles. My dad had a business right off of Olympic Boulevard. And I grew up in LA my entire life, went to college in LA, and one day just decided it's time to try something different. Left to the city of Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love, to teach in South Philadelphia, and eventually came back to South Central. And now I work in nutrition after kind of trying to find my own path to a healthier life. And yeah, I feel like every single one of those journeys has been inspiration for this book, just getting to work with children, kind of refinding myself, starting to do things as a 25-year-old, walking into a gym, learning martial arts, learning surfing. A lot of these things that Camila goes through are things that I went through, not as a little girl, but as a very grown up. And I just kind of wish, the only regret I have in my journey is that I would have started sooner. But that was challenging. My parents didn't have a lot when I was growing up, and I just don't think they saw kind of the value of sports, because it was really important to put food on the table and to have us focus on school. But I'm hoping that this book and this movement that Naibe and I are collaborating on helps shift that, and just to show people that taking a moment to do something that just gives you joy, I call them joy sports, especially joy sports for people of color, are so important. So that's a little bit about me.
That's awesome. Joy sports. Can you explain what that is? And I want to also mention something else. It's never too late to start. We wrote this book through the eyes of, we haven't really established her age, but she's around 8 years old, más o menos, right? She's a young little girl, because we do want to plant that seed to children at a young age. But I wrote another book called Courageous History Makers, where this woman, she's this Mexican woman, won the Guinness Book World Record for climbing the 3 tallest mountains in the world. And she did not start exercising till she was 25. And she won the Guinness World Record when she was 35. So it's never ever too late. We're all little girls, you know, with grown-up bodies. So this book can also apply to a grown-up. But like I said, I think for you and for me, it's important for us to plant the seed now when they're young, and to also parents, because in some families, especially Latino families, the boys are encouraged more to practice sports. But, you know, sports is such an integral part of the United States culture, right? So if you are involved in sports at a young age, more opportunities are going to open up for you. And it's just good all around. It's good for you physically. You learn how to be a team player. You learn how to, you know, have more self-confidence, be more aware of your body. You learn to belong to another like team as opposed to your school, or another group. You find other mentors. So we wanted to plant the seed, and I just love the fact that there's so much multiculturalism in this book, right? We have all the cultures. Why don't you speak to that, and why was that important, Giselle, to represent, to be multicultural in our book?
Yes. So to me, I feel like my life has been a little bit of what in literature they call the hero's journey. The hero's journey is really just like this full circle path where you kind of leave. And one of the books that I love and inspires me so much, even in this, is The Alchemist, where this little boy, or for me, this little girl, leaves where you're from, and you go on this very difficult journey, learn things from different people, from different places, from different experiences that maybe you never saw could be part of your path. In the book, The Alchemist, it's him going from Spain to Morocco and being the first shepherd to leave Spain. And for me, I feel like it was leaving Los Angeles, starting to travel the world, starting to jump in the ocean and learn to surf. I'd never seen another Latino surf. And in this case, like learning martial arts, I never saw another physically strong woman growing up. And so that was something that was so powerful for me to go learn from other people, specifically jiu-jitsu. You can't learn it from a book. You can't learn it on your own. There's other people that need to be part of your team, part of your academy, and they teach it forward to you. And so many of the things that I know now, and I'm trying to teach back to my community. I have a community movement called Los Courage Camps, which is sponsored by El Barrio Athletic Club. Both are my movements. And I just try to find other families and kids who would never have access to, like I said, joy sports, and bring it back to them. So I've had people that have helped me that don't look like me, that aren't Latino, and I wanted that to be reflected in this book, and like Los Angeles is just full of so many different types of people. And so this book has, you know, her Hawaiian friend and her jiu-jitsu master teacher that look different from her. And I really do believe that's the future. It's not just about staying around the people that look like us and have our experiences. It's about becoming this like very worldly human. And I do see that in the future for our kids.
definitely. And people are commenting, and I don't know if you saw, but I was putting some of the comments. For example, Yerena says, congratulations on the book. I'm so excited for my little niece Camila to receive this book. Isabel Aranda says, congratulations, Naibe. Laura Fernandez Benje says, hi. And I had said that I was going to be giving away prizes. So whoever comments on, let's see, what gives you courage? Whoever, the next person that comments on what gives you courage, I'm going to give them our exclusive little sticker packs. We have the warrior one, we have the courageous, we have the brave. And I actually do use them in my water bottles, if you see, and it really does encourage me. Look, I have Camila right here.
He's so cute.
So if you guys want to win some stickers, write down what gives you courage, what makes you feel courageous, and I will, and then DM me, and then I will send you the stickers. So we have another. Lola Villaseñor says, hola, Ana. Yes, my daughter Camila just saw the picture of the little girl in the book, and she said, she looks like me. She's so excited for the book.
You're making me cry already.
And right now we have Laura Fernandez Benje. She says that my abuela y madre give me courage. And that's exactly what our book is about. Our book is about honoring our mothers, our immigrant mothers that don't get a lot of the awards, the accolades, the recognition, but they are the pillars of strength for their daughters and their sons that later on move on to become great. And then the daughters or the sons get the accolades, right? But the parents are usually in the background. So we wanted to really put the mom in the forefront, because in this book, the mom is the courageous one. Well, Camila eventually finds her courage, but you know, the mom is the courage, what gives Camila courage. So we have some other comments here that I'm going to bring up. So let's see. Delia Ruiz says diversity in books. Ernie G, my friend, says, you give me courage, Naibe.
Ernie, I remember Ernie.
Maritere says, congratulations, amiga. So happy for you. So we're getting a lot of comments. Thank you. Keep them coming. And like I said, if you do comment, I will give you stickers. And then out of those people that I give stickers to, I'm going to raffle off a book. The Be Bold, Be Brave, Chiquitos book. So are you ready to read the book?
I'm ready.
I'm so nervous to read the book. I'm so nervous to read the book because it's kind of our baby, right? And we did it with a lot of love. We spent over a year writing this book, co-authoring this book, because we really wanted to be authentic. We really wanted to make this an impactful message and an impactful book. So we really worked hard on it. And, you know, this book, I think, is going to do a lot of different things. It's going to encourage little girls to be able to wear like a gi, which is what that, can you explain what a gi is?
Yeah, so it's essentially, I guess, the more common name. And it was so cute to teach Naibe. I feel like you could take your first jiu-jitsu class now, Naibe, to teach her.
I kind of want to take a boxing class.
You're not allowed to punch in jiu-jitsu, but it's okay. And actually, that's another, I'll be teaching some free community classes through El Barrio Athletic Club for our community. To expose them to jiu-jitsu and self-defense. It's so important. But besides the point, the kimono is a very traditional kind of two-piece pants and jacket. You see it in a lot of martial arts like judo, jiu-jitsu, and that's what she wears. It's very interesting because I think something that discourages families and kids from doing some of these sports, especially for me, was the lack of tribal knowledge. Like, where do I even buy a gi? What is a gi, right? When people say that word, how do I tie my belt? Like, which side goes which way? And those little bits of knowledge that I think are so helpful. So yeah, that's the gi.
And it's funny because the gi, like, I really like the image of a Latina wearing a gi. And actually this weekend, I went to a book fair where I was selling my books, and I met a little girl named Camila who was wearing a gi and practices martial arts. So I took a picture with her because they exist, they're out there, and we need to normalize all of this. We need to normalize Latinas can wear a gi, they can surf, they can skateboard. It's not just for one type of community or one type of person, right? So we have another comment. Yerena says, thank you for all the love you put into the book and for everything you do for the community. I welcome all of your comments. Please comment, because your comments give us breath. At least they give me breath, because we do all of this for our community. We do all of this for our readers, because you and I, we've only met once in person. We do everything online. And so like in silos, right? And especially with COVID and everything. So it's really good to feel the community, to read your messages and to feel like you're there and you're watching, and what we are doing matters, because we are putting a lot of love into it. So without further ado, oh my God, I'm so nervous. And everyone that's watching right now, guess what? We haven't shown the illustrations to anybody. We haven't read the book to anybody. I mean, we've read it to like maybe our parent. I've read it to my husband and to my mom, and that's it. So, so you guys, whoever's watching right now is going to be you are our first audience. And after we read the book, I would love to hear what your favorite parts of the book were. So I'm going to give more stickers away to everyone that comments what your favorite part of the book was. And please email me or DM me and say, I watched, and I commented, and I'm going to have kind of a record of this. So don't cheat, but yeah, comment about what your favorite part of the book is. And you can even comment as we're reading. So, okay, Giselle, are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. Okay. So let me share my screen here. Okay. So what you guys are seeing right now is the book is not in production yet. It's still in the pre-production process. So what you guys are seeing right now is this is a rough version. It's already been copy edited. The illustrations are finished. The only thing is that right now I'm working with a book formatter to put it all nice in a book format way, and then we're going to send it off to print. And if you want to buy this book, you can pre-order it on Kickstarter. On Instagram, you have a link. It's Con Todo Press on Instagram, and in my link in bio, you can click and pre-order the book. And tomorrow it's done. It's over. The pre-orders are done. So hopefully you can support it. Okay. Without further ado, and Giselle, you can hear me okay?
I can hear you okay. Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, so I'm going to start. All right. So what you guys are seeing right now is the opening of the book, the end sheet. So it doesn't have any text. It's just what you see when you open the book. Okay. Now we're going to go to the first scene. Okay. One of Camila's favorite things to do was going to the laundromat with her mama. While helping fold laundry, she would listen to Mama's stories about her little pueblito in Mexico and the fun adventure she had when she was little.
Camila also loved peeking through the window of the martial arts studio next door. Watching the students practice reminded Camila of all the warriors she had read about in her favorite books.
One day, as they walked past the class, Mama asked, "Would you like to try?" "Me?" Camila responded with hesitation. "Why not you?" said Mama. "You shouldn't be afraid. You come from a long line of warriors."
And before she knew it, Mama had enrolled Camila in Master Ren's jiu-jitsu class. On her first day, Camila learned that jiu-jitsu was invented so a smaller person could defeat a bigger person. The class was hard. Camila's knees buckled with nerves and she kept getting thrown down to the mat.
Camila told her mama that she wanted to quit. "Don't give up on jiu-jitsu," said Mama with her beautiful Spanish accent. "Everything takes practice," Mama added as she handed Camila a ball of dough. "I had to practice for years to master Abuela's tamales, Before you know it, you will have one of those belts, just like the one I am tying onto the tamales. Mama was teaching Camila how to mix the masa, stuff the corn husks with delicious meat, and steam them until they were soft and doughy. But Camila's tamales were floppy and still not as pretty as her mama's.
You're making me hungry. Mama's tamales were the best. On weekends, Camila enjoyed exploring the city while helping Mama deliver orders. Today, they were dropping some off at Mr. Kakoa's house. He lived in a beautiful house near the ocean. Camila loved visiting the beach. Even though it was close to her house, it felt like it was a whole world away.
Aloha, said Mr. Kikoa. Camila was happy to go to Mr. Kikoa's because she would get to see her friend Keilani, Mr. Kikoa's daughter. Mr. Kikoa's house was full of trophies and pictures. In one of them, Mr. Kikoa looked like he was on an ironing board, magically floating above the water. Mr. Kikoa looked so strong and fierce. Camila wished she had the same balance as Mr. Kikoa had. She could really use it in jiu-jitsu.
Their next stop was Tia Rosa's house. Camila liked going there because the frutero man was always out front. She would order a cup of chopped mangoes with spicy toppings and lemon juice while she watched her primo Beto's fancy skateboard tricks. Maybe one day I will conquer my fear of falling and be like my primo, Camila thought as she watched in amazement.
The next day, Camila was back in class and Master Rend had a big surprise for her. I want you to compete in our next martial arts tournament. Camila felt so nervous, her eyes got as big as two gigantic tortillas. I don't know if I'm ready, she thought, as she raced home to tell Mama.
Camila felt like there were a million butterflies in her stomach. What if I'm not good enough yet? She asked Mama. Mija, find your courage, said Mama. Remember when I was told that leaving my pueblito and coming to los Estados Unidos was something only my brothers were strong enough to do? She asked. Yes, said Camila, nodding. I knew that wasn't true. And you need to believe in yourself, said Mama. Remember, we come from a long line of guerreras. Even your last name means warrior in Spanish. And as Camila practiced every day, and so Camila practiced every day in her room to prepare for the big tournament.
Finally, competition day arrived. Camila stepped up to the mat. Her opponent looked so much bigger. Camila felt nervous. She could feel the butterflies fluttering in her stomach again. Maybe this was a bad idea, she thought. They bowed and the referee said, go. Camila was tossed and turned. Finally, the timer rang. Camila lost the match. She felt defeated and sad. She started doubting herself. Was she a real guerrera? But the tournament wasn't over. There was another match.
Love this part. Camila looked over at Mama, who was cheering her on from the stands. She remembered what Mama had always told her. Find your courage. Believe in yourself. Camila thought about all the stories her Mama had shared with her. How Mama had the courage to come to this country and experience so many new things, like learning a new language, becoming a citizen, and even selling her tamales. Just then, she realized that Mama was the greatest warrior of all.
Camila summoned all the bravery she had, and suddenly she felt courageous. She was ready for her second match. She took a deep breath. She visualized herself as a warrior, just like Mama, just like the long line of guerreras that had come before her. She trusted her hands and feet to move like she had practiced. And just like that, the timer rang, and Camila won the match.
She stood at the metal podium as Master Ren awarded her with a new belt. We're so proud of you, Camila. The courage was in you all along, said Mama. My courage from you.
And so Camila's family had a huge fiesta to honor her victory. And of course, they celebrated with Mama's delicious homemade tamales. The end.
I was smiling so hard. That's why I kept misreading so hard.
So that's it. That's it. Let's see what our I'm going to put some comments on here. I love Delia Ruiz says, I love the comparison to the tamales page. What a beautiful story. Laura Fernandez says she was so proud and that made me work hard. Let's see. Sandy said, this book is filled with beautiful illustrations. The bright colors and familiar cultural scenes and texts will definitely make it a popular book in my school library for both teachers and staff. Thank you, Sandy. So, yeah, I'd love to get more comments. Let's see. Laura Fernandez says, my abuela made me learn tennis. I am so glad she did because it gave me something. And I won tennis scholarship that helped me be the first ever in 3 generations to graduate from college. Woo! Thank you, Laura, and congratulations.
That's the power of sports right there. That's the power of sports.
Exactly. Esther Urquiza, congratulations to Naibe and Giselle. Thank you so much. We want to keep reading your comments. Bravo. Who's cutting onions? OMG. Seeing her mom being courageous, learning English, getting her citizenship got me. Yeah, that scene has made me cry. JR says, I love the big tortillas eyes from my daughter, Maya. Maya, his daughter liked that. Thank you, JR. Liliana Villaseñor, my daughter gives me courage. Please keep the comments coming. And we'd love to read them. And hopefully, whoever leaves a comment, I'm going to send you guys some stickers, okay? I know that's not a big thing, but like out of everyone, I'm also going to like give away a book. So everyone gets stickers, either courageous or brave. It's going to be like the luck of the draw, one of these mommy ones, one of the warrior ones, and then someone is going to get the book. So let's see. Dia Michelle says, such a great story. I love the Spanish sprinkled in. My favorite part is that she is reminded that she is a warrior, a long line of guerreras. Thank you, Dia. I really love your message. Oh my God, I didn't think the tortilla eyes were going to be such a hit, but another one. Yes, the tortilla eyes were so good. Well, you know, I thought that would be fun because obviously this is a kid's book, so we still want to make it fun for children, right? We want to make it silly. It has a really deep messages, Giselle, right? Really deep messages about perseverance and keep on going, et cetera, et cetera. But we also know that at the end of the day, it's meant to be read to children. And hey, what's funnier than your eyes being as big as 2 round tortillas? And we wanted to bring in the cultural aspect. So I think there's another Americanized way of saying like my eyes got big as something. I don't remember what the saying is, but I'm like, let's make her eyes like tortillas because, that's very Latino. So let me see another one. Oh, saucer. Yes. Thank you, Yerena. My eyes got as big as 2 saucers. So we switched it up to sprinkle in the Mexican or the Latino culture. And we also obviously sprinkled in a lot of Latino culture. We put in the tamales, we put in the frutero. We know that frutero and people that sell things on the street, vendors have been getting harassed, and we know the importance they are to our community and that they are parents themselves that provide for their families. So those parents, those fruteros, the women that sell, tamales on the street, they need to have respect, right? So we wanted to make sure to include all of that, all of those elements in. Giselle, is there anything you would like to share or say now that we've read the book?
I'm just reading all these little comments. The karate chops, there's a great one that just came in. But really, I think, and I've said this before in some of our other IG lives, when we started writing the book, it was about a little girl who found her courage all on her own. And very quickly, Naive and I realized like that's not true. And we reflected personally and started looking back at our journeys, and immediately both of our moms came up. And I mean, we quickly got here like, wait, okay, your mom made tamales, so did my mom. Wait, who encouraged you in the moments when you started doubting yourself? Like, it was my mom, and like your mom too. And I think that something that is so powerful, and someday I'd love to write a book about the lessons my dad taught me too. So if he watches this someday, he's not getting a little jealous, because he definitely taught me different lessons. But for my mom, I think she taught me to keep going, even when she hadn't stepped foot in some of these things that I was delving into: college, traveling, pursuing my passion, finding my authentic voice, writing a book. You know, it's one of the sweetest moments now is just to like see her watch some of these videos and some of this content and know that she built the foundation for me. I've talked about it before. There's this beautiful poem called The Grandmothers. I was so lucky that growing up, my parents always had us go back to Mexico. Every Christmas break, we would get in our Ford truck and drive to Nayarit, Mexico. And I really got to see that what I get to do in this life is because of the things my mom did, because of the things my grandmother did, and lots of other ancestors before them. So it's for all of them, all the ancestors, all the mamas in our past, in our story.
Definitely. And like I said, it was important for us to honor the moms. You know, I feel like our generation of Latinos, like a lot of our parents are immigrants. They carry so much weight. They carry the weight of experiencing a new country, experiencing discrimination, experiencing like difficulty with the language and navigating a different country. And then as first generation, we also have some burdens, right? Like the burden of not having intergenerational wealth or knowledge to navigate this country. We have to figure out our college applications all on our own. We have to figure out how do we succeed in this web, in this country with so many different things and options. So we understand that. So we wanted to make sure that both perspectives were illustrated and shared in the book. So that's why the mom talks about her pueblito and how, you know, she shares her story of how all of the adventures that she had in her pueblito. And then we obviously talk about her coming, you know, when she says that she came to this country and they said that only her brothers could do it, but she knew she was strong enough. And then we obviously do the little scene where Camila is saying that, you know, she recognized in that instant that her mom was the greatest warrior of all, because she remembered like, wow, my mom learned English. She became a citizen. She started her own tamale business. She's a warrior. That's it. Like, why I'm a warrior too, because my mom's a warrior, and that's where she found her courage. So yeah, I think all of our parents are warriors because of everything that they've gone through. And
yeah.
So this is an ode to the parents, but also, like I said, a little seed to plant in the children so they could pursue sports or whatever. It doesn't have to be sports. It could be something challenging. It could be a computer programming class that's challenging, or it could be something else that's learning an instrument or a dance, going into a dance class that's challenging. Let me see. Laura Fernandez says, same with my mom and abuela. I accomplished our dreams for them. That is very sweet. All right. So thank everyone for coming to our little virtual party. Woo! I wanted to make it feel like a party. So that's why I bought all of the balloons and all of the decorations and everything. You can still pre-order the book on Kickstarter. It ends tomorrow. Kickstarter is not a charity. It's not a handout. It's literally just a way to pre-order the book. Con Todo Press is a company that I started all on my own. I have 0 investors. I'm doing everything on my own. And I didn't want to have investors and I didn't want to have partners because I wanted to be authentic to my vision and my voice. And I did not want to have to ask permission or have any kind of editorial opinions that I didn't, I didn't want to have to get approval for editorial opinions or for any of my books because, hey, this is lived experience, right? I mean, who's going to tell our story better than us, right, Giselle?
That's exactly it. I mean, I was so blown away when I met you and saw what you were building. Growing up, I didn't have a lot of ways to stay entertained. My summer camp was my mom dropping me off at the library. And so I read and I soaked every book in. But honestly, I never in my entire childhood found a book that had a little girl that reflected any bit of me physically, or just in the things that I was curious about. Sorry if you can hear the motorcycles going down the street.
I thought it was lunch.
Huh?
I thought it was because you had tamales. Something else was going.
Yeah, tamales are boiling. No, I am making quesadillas today, so that's
nice.
pretty close. But yeah, I think that is the power of what this book is going to do, because I'm already seeing it in the comments, hearing it from people that pre-ordered, that they have a little girl in their life that is looking at this image and seeing, wow, like she looks like me and I can identify with her. Because I think it is going to open up a path for little girls to do things that are different from their familia, and that's okay. That is totally okay.
So I'm gonna quickly go. Let me see if I have no, I don't have it up on screen anymore. I was gonna share more pictures, but I don't have the link anymore for the book. But so our little virtual party is supposed to last an hour. I'm wondering if we should replay our video.
Let's do it.
That's like our commercial break. And then we'll come back and do Q&A. We would love for anyone that's watching to ask us any question. Nothing is off limits. Please ask Giselle a question, ask me a question. But we're going to take a little intermission break of a 2-minute break. And we're going to watch the video right now.
My name is Naibe Reynoso. I am the founder of Con Todo Press, and I am also the co-author of Courageous Camila, a story about finding your inner warrior. For me, this book is important for a few reasons. After seeing how my daughter's life was transformed when she became engaged in sports like swimming, softball, and lacrosse, I realized the importance of having and encouraging little girls to do sports. But unfortunately, I also noticed that there was a lack of Latinas on the field. We need to keep encouraging diversity in women's sports, especially for little girls in our community. It is a fact that participating in sports improves our self-esteem, our body image, and our confidence. And I also wanted to write a book that honored immigrant moms, because most of the time, they are the true heroes of our stories.
Hi, my name is Giselle Carrillo. I'm the co-author of Courageous Camila, a story about a little girl finding her inner warrior. Growing up, I never played sports. Not only were they too expensive for my immigrant parents, I also never really connected with any of the sports I tried. But at 25, I had a quarter-life crisis, which led me to surfing and completely changed my life. But sports can be expensive, so my friends and I decided we were going to give free surf lessons to our people, so that little kids like us could look around the water and see a face that looked like theirs. We called it Los Courage Camps. My dream is to introduce more families to sports like surfing, jiu-jitsu, skateboarding. They've taught me how strong I can be mentally and physically if we just remember where we came from. By helping us fund this project, you help us encourage more communities of color to find their inner warrior and to encounter life's obstacles with grit and determination.
Thank you. We know you and your children will fall in love with Camila's journey.
And we're back.
We're back.
So I found the, I'm going to share really quickly the illustrations again, just so if people just started watching right now. And we still need more support on Kickstarter if you want to pre-order the book. It's not charity again. You're literally just pre-ordering the book. And there's a lot of different options. You can get like a teacher's bundle where you can give, I'm not sure how many books there is in that bundle, but you will get like a half-hour author reading of the book to your class. And there's a lot of other options. So if you go to Instagram, the Con Todo Press Instagram, the link is right there. So I'm just going to quickly like show the illustrations again, just so we, just so everyone could see the beautiful illustrations. Like I said, what you're watching right now is the rough mock-up. You guys can hear me, correct?
Yes, we can hear you.
Perfect. Okay. What you guys are looking at is the book, but this is a rough PDF mock-up. It's still in the book formatting stage, but all the illustrations are done. All of the text has been copy edited. I went to Venice High School, and and I believe you hung out a lot in Venice, right, Giselle?
So that's when I moved back to Los Angeles, I then moved to Venice, and that's where I learned to surf, actually.
Oh, wow. So right here we have Mr. Kikoa, and it's so funny because I went to Venice High, and it was such a melting pot. Like there was every single culture you can imagine. And I loved it. I loved it because it really, and I felt like when I was at Venice High, I honestly, I didn't feel like, I felt like all the races embraced each other, and it wasn't like a big deal to be another race. Everyone accepted each other. Everyone was, I felt like on equal footing. It was a great experience. It was a very multicultural high school. And right here's one of our favorite scenes, which is Camila's mom. And she's, this is where this is a really pivotal point in the book where Camila she just lost a tournament. She's about to start her second match, or not her tournament. She lost a match. She's still in the tournament. She's about to start her second match. She's nervous. And all of a sudden she looks over at her mom, and she remembers how much of a warrior her mom was by learning English, becoming a U.S. citizen, starting a business. And that's a pivotal moment. Go. That's where Camila is getting her. Can you explain the belt? Because I thought the yellow belt was so pretty, but you're like, no, it has to be gray. Can you explain?
Yes. So it's a little bit more complicated for children, but for adults, there's 5 belts. And as you gain certain skills and, masters in jiu-jitsu kind of know when you're ready for that level. And there's 5 belts: white, blue, purple, brown, and black. But for children, as they're developing, their jiu-jitsu as anything under 16 years old, there's actually a series of belts. And the first one is the gray belt. And there's other belts. I forget the order exactly because I started jiu-jitsu so late in life, but there's gray, there's yellow, there's green, and I believe there's orange as well. And this varies by martial art. So karate would be different, with the exception of, I believe, the black belt. That one's always like the ultimate one, and it takes, they say, roughly 10 years to get your black belt. Yeah.
And then here's the last scene where everyone's in the fiesta celebrating with mom's tamales. So I had said that if anyone had questions, I would love to answer any questions. Let's see. Okay, we do have some questions. So let's see. Sandy is saying, and comments. So Sandy Corpus says, authentic connections is important for our children. What sports do you play? What sports does your daughter play? I'm not sure if that question is for Giselle or for me, but I do have a daughter. The sports I play, I don't play sports. Unfortunately, that was one of the reasons I wanted to write the book, because my mom is a very, very traditional Mexican mom, and she's my warrior and my hero. And she encouraged me all the way through, and she still does. But because of culture and the machismo that exists in Mexican culture, she discouraged me from really delving more into sports. I really liked flag football. I really liked basketball when I was in junior high. And I remember she was saying, oh, eso es cosa de niños, de hombres, blah, blah, blah. So I kind of just like, you know, that our parents' words are so powerful that I cut it off right when she said that. And I didn't even consider it at all after that. But we need to change that, because maybe I would have ended up playing a sport like soccer or whatever. But now I'm really into like working out, and I like running, and I like cycling, and I like light weights and all that stuff. I've tried boxing here and there as a workout, and I really would love to get more serious about it. I just love it. It's like such a powerful sport. My daughter plays lacrosse, and that was another reason that this book was important for me, because lacrosse has been such an amazing part of her, you know, of her growth. It's been such an amazing part of like her becoming a young lady with a responsible attitude, and with like, she's just been given so many opportunities. She was recruited as a Division I lacrosse player to go to the University of Albany. It's opened so many doors. She's gotten scholarships. She's actually going to play on ESPN with the All-American lacrosse team. And unfortunately, when I was doing my research on Latinas in Division I, so basically Division I is like the best. There's 3 divisions in college sports, and Division I is the number one, you know, division, which is supposed to mean like the best athletes. There's only 5.6% of Latina athletes of Division I athletes are Latina, and we are almost 20% of the population. So there's a huge disparity there. And I'm not saying that I'm not encouraging everyone to pursue sports as a career. But if only out of all the athletes in Division I, only 5.6% are Latina, and we're 20% of the population, there's obviously disparity there in numbers. So we need to change that, because I'm sure there's a lot of little girls that kind of are like me, that haven't even thought about doing a sport or practicing a sport, that can lead to, you know, better college applications, self-esteem, confidence, so many different leadership tools that you learn. And I want you, Giselle, to talk about that, all of the different cool things, positive things that come from playing a sport.
Well, number one thing, like we named the book this, really, it's courage. Courage is, I believe, and there's some studies that show, you know, the different range of human emotions, fear and, you know, self-empowerment. The one thing that lies in the middle of shifting between those two is courage. Seeing yourself or believing that you can do something that you couldn't do yesterday or the day before or the minute before. And for me, surfing was that first courage sport that I found, where my whole life, I never played sports. We just didn't have the money. And as much as I tried, I remember I showed up to, when I got to high school, I showed up to the volleyball tryouts, and I showed up to the tennis tryouts. And I felt and I showed up to the cheer tryouts. And I was X'd right away because I had never had any formal training growing up. And by high school, it's just a little too late in my case. So I did not make the team. I was cut right away. And there was a lot of shame in that moment because I showed up and I didn't even have like the right clothes, and all these girls knew how to do all these really cool moves. And I think I was just being hopeful, and it totally burst my bubble of hope that I could be an athlete. I do think it was part of my destiny. I just don't think I had the opportunities to start and the training, obviously. So at 25, when I had the money, the resources, and the access to the ocean, because I had moved to Venice Beach, I was like, wow, like I really want to surf, but I can barely swim. I'm really scared of the ocean. My mom's always told me, el mar es traicionero, the ocean can betray you. But there was just something more powerful than that fear that drove me to just go try. And I took a class and I did not surf that day at all. I drank a lot of ocean water, but I was in good hands, right? I never felt unsafe in any moment. And I think that's such a lesson. Sometimes we don't try things because we hype up the fear. We hype up the ways that you're going to die. And I think that in that situation, like I had feared for 25 years of my life. Obviously, I wasn't going to jump in there as a newborn, but for years, a whole quarter of my life, I feared the ocean. And then one day I just decided to stop listening to that fear and listen to the curiosity. And it was not as bad. It wasn't bad at all. Like, yes, I flopped around and, you know, my hair was in my eyes and I was a little blinded, being tossed around like a washing machine, but it was more joyful than anything. I laughed like I hadn't laughed in so many years. It was just such a beautiful experience. So that led to me deciding I was going to lift weights. So I also am a power lifter. I train pretty aggressively at the gym. I love it. It's made me, you know, grow muscles that I didn't know I could have. And very much like Naibe, my mom too was like, hey, Giselle, as she calls me, you know, I see you're starting to go to the gym. Like, just be careful. You might grow muscles and the boys might not like you. And I just laughed with her. And I was like, Mommy, I'm not doing this to get a boyfriend. I'm doing this because it makes me feel really strong and very healthy. And that's why I believe in sports, even when you grow up, is that it teaches you to take care of your health, especially in our community. Diabetes, obesity, those are very real things that take away family. And so I hope sports can inspire us to reverse some of that. And then obviously the final sport that I am so passionate about, actually there's more, but jiu-jitsu. I started about 3 years ago. I'm a blue belt. And then I love to skateboard and I just love to be active. Like if there's something that gets my heart rate up, I'm all for it.
Awesome. Awesome. So we got another cool comment. Ernie G, who's a friend of mine, says, we need more men supporting this book. These amazing authors and advocating for Latina girls and Latinas in sports. Where are you at, macho men? Ha ha ha. Yeah, and we do include the dad. Unfortunately, in this book, we are hoping to make this book into a series, 3 books, and we've been working on it. So this is the first book. In the first book, the dad doesn't have a speaking role, but hopefully he will in the second or third. He is present, as you could see, if you remember, in the party scene, he has Camila on his shoulders, right? So he's there, he's supportive. There just wasn't enough room because we were covering already so many different themes. But yes, I think men and women should support this book. And I wanna answer questions. I don't see any questions from anybody. So if you guys have any questions, please put it in the comments. We will see them right away. And if you have a question for Giselle or for me, like I said, this book is still available for pre-order on our Kickstarter at Con Todo Press. Instagram, you could just go to the link and pre-order the book. And our hearts will flutter when we see that we have your support.
Yeah, and I have people say, like, can you send me the link? I know Instagram can be a little tricky, so we DM us, we can send you the link. Somebody came by and he's like, I don't know this technology stuff. Can I just drop off money? And I was like, sure, and I'll do it here for you. So whatever we can do to help get this book in more hands. And Naibe, I'm going to have to plug into my power in my living room. So I'm going to move for a second if you want a spotlight for a little bit. So I don't die in the computer.
Spotlight real quick. Okay, cool. All right. Well, everyone that's listening to this broadcast right now, I really appreciate all of your eyes and ears. I started my company, Con Todo Press, in 2018 after I heard so many horrible things being said about my community and specifically the Mexican community. And as a mom, it really broke my heart to hear so many horrible things. And they were saying the word Mexican, like Mexicans are this and Mexicans are that, etc. So our children don't know how to filter those messages, and if they hear that Mexicans are bad hombres or this or that, then they're going to absorb it. It's going to affect their self-esteem. It's going to affect their success in the future. So I really wanted to create books that had a positive message that uplifted our community. So that's why I wrote my first one, Be Bold, Be Brave, 11 Latinas Who Made U.S. History. And in this one I have wonderful, oh, look at, see, I was already thinking of sports. I knew that I did want to definitely include someone doing sports. And actually there's a professional athlete in every single one of my biography books. So in this case, it is Lisa Fernandez. So, you know, we have Ellen Ochoa, we have Selena, of course, we have Pura Belpré, Sonia Sotomayor, Maria Hinojosa, Antonia Novello, Judy Baca, Hilda Solis, Dolores Huerta, wonderful, wonderful woman. We have you, and this is my first book. And then after that, I did Fearless Trailblazers, which is 11 Latinos Who Made U.S. History. And then I did How to Fold a Taco, which is a really, really fun book. And right now I did How to Stuff a Piñata, which is also in production right now. So watch out for How to Stuff a Piñata. And all of these books are actually available on Kickstarter as well, if you want to purchase them there. We have all the books except Chiquitos. Thank you, Laura.
All right, I'm plugged in. Yay!
Okay. Awesome. We only have like 6 more minutes, so I need to make it party.
You mentioned the piñata book, and I'm like, ooh, now we need a piñata party.
Yes, I can't wait until. So once the book is physically in our hands, and it's physically like, because right now, like I said, this is just pre-order. We need to throw a big party, right?
Yes.
Like in real life. Ernie G says, how do we support the Kickstarter campaign? Ernie, you can support it by going to my Con Todo Press Instagram or my @Naibe Reynoso Instagram. And there's the link in my bio. There's the Kickstarter, but you can definitely support it that way. So, okay. I went to the Con Todo Press IG page and I couldn't find the link. It is in here. Okay, let me do a little tutorial, okay? All right, you go to my Con Todo Press. Okay, Ernie, this one's for you, okay? Then you go to my little link right there in bio. You see that? Here, I'm going to do the solo, so okay. So you go to my Instagram, Con Todo Press, and then you go to the link in bio right here, okay? You hit that. Bada boom, bada bang. Courageous Camila, Kickstarter right there. Then you hit that. Okay, and then that's it. Then it says, here's the campaign, and then it has all kinds of different rewards. So it's 1 book, 2 books, 3 books, whatever you want. Let me see.
You got this, Ernie. You got this.
You can do it. If not, I will inbox you. Evelyn Ruiz says, wonderful job. Excited to purchase and read all Con Todo Press books. Thank you so much, Evelyn. Ernie again says, men need our hands held through this process. Yes. And Ernie, congratulations. He is going to be a father for the first time in September. So you're going to have to buy all of my books for your new little baby. Evelyn Ruiz says, we need to support each other as Latinas, encourage our daughters to become magnificent leaders. Yes, we definitely do. So we only have a couple of more minutes. Is there anything else you would like to add, Giselle?
Oh man, I feel like we covered it all. I think I'm just filled with so much hope. There's something that I experience way too often, and it's becoming less common, thankfully, but imposter syndrome, right? Like, I'm not an author. This is my first book, and it's crazy because I wrote it on a vision board before, so it's like, it's becoming a reality. And when we launched the Kickstarter, there was a lot of like, are we going to be able to fund this? Are we going to get this off the ground? Obviously, it's a pre-order. Like Naibe said, it's not, people just giving us money to do it. And to see us meet the goal was just such an incredible moment where you tell that little imposter syndrome voice, like, no, you were wrong. And like, I want to encourage people to go do things off of their vision board. And the more that you do, for me, right, like being like, I want to be really strong and be a black belt in something someday. And then you do it, like there's a snowball effect here, and it grows. And that little imposter syndrome voice gets dimmer and dimmer as time goes on. And I'm full of hope too, because like you've already met a Camila wearing a kimono, a gi. I have a niece, Aaliyah, who does jujitsu too. So literally I'm seeing that change in our families, in the next generation. So I'm just full of so much hope, so much joy, and I can't wait for the party someday.
No, we're going to have it soon. We just need to plan it because it needs to be like big.
Yes.
We need to do it. We need to go all out. But no, yeah, I agree with you. And it's funny because as far as the imposter syndrome goes, I feel like I've always lived in both of those worlds of like, I've been in situations where I'm not accepted, or I'm not given the job, or I'm not given the promotion, or I'm not even let into the building for whatever my career, because I'm a journalist. And I felt like, well, maybe I suck. I just suck. I suck. Like, that's what I tell myself. And then with this project with Con Todo Press, I didn't ask anybody for permission. I didn't have to knock on any doors. I didn't have to beg. I didn't have to send countless emails. I just did it on my own. I trusted my gut. I trusted my instinct, my voice. And then out of that, I've gotten so many positive feedback on all of my books. Like this one is like a finalist for like a Publishers Weekly self-published book award. This one won like the International Book Award, and it was like on the two really prestigious lists. One of them is like the Texas Reading Star list, and then it was on another. It was listed in the Library School Journal, which is a big deal. So I'm like, wait a minute. I remember the messaging of these other institutions or these places or these people that I felt I was receiving the message that I'm not good enough, that I suck, that I don't know what I'm doing, that I'm who's little Naibe, blah, blah, blah. And when I turned around and just kind of did my own thing, I'm getting more accolades and I'm getting more like recognition, which that's not what I'm after. I'm almost 50 years old. Like I've been there, done that. I just want it. Now I feel like now it's my time to just give back, to do my passion project, to really do something positive for the community. But what I'm saying is like, sometimes, I have to shut that imposter syndrome because I still reminisce, or I still remember those moments where I was told I wasn't good enough, that I was not given the promotion, that I was not given the job, that I wasn't even given the interview for such and such job or whatever. And then knowing like all of the positive feedback I've gotten from the books, and they've been selling really well on Amazon and everything, and in bookstores and in wholesale, it's like no one really knows what's inside of you but you, and you really have to trust your gut. And just because you get a no at you name it, fill in the blank, you get a no at that job, you get a no at that company, you get a no for the promotion, that doesn't mean that you don't have anything really valuable to give. It just means that wasn't the right place to put all of your heart and soul into, and sometimes it's your own company, and sometimes you do find a space with a boss that gets you, with a boss or a supervisor that knows what you want to do and will support you. But like I said, sometimes you need to do it on your own. So you just have to find that little nook, because it exists. I really believe that nook of brilliance exists for everybody. It's not, you just have to find it, and like, kind of like a little, those animals that dig into the ground and they just find their little place. That's what you need. That's what everyone needs to do with their own brilliance, whether it's therapy, whether it's teaching, whether it's creating, whether it's singing, whatever it is, that brilliance is within you. Just like Camila, she found her inner warrior because it was inside her all along. And that's why we subtitled it Courageous Camila, a story about finding your inner warrior, because we all have an inner warrior, right?
Yep, 100%.
All right. All right. Well, I guess it's been an hour, so we will have to say goodbye. But I want to thank everybody. Evelyn, who just sent a little message. We need to support each other, Latinas, encourage our daughters. Yeri Ana says, way to be courageous for our guerreras. Thank you so much for all of your beautiful comments. And if you want to please support us and support this movement, go to the Instagram. I kind of gave you a small little tutorial on Con Todo Press. Go to the link in bio, pre-order the book. The Kickstarter ends tomorrow morning. So this is it. This is it.
And there's more to come from us. We're not done, Naibe and
No.
I. Yeah.
No. It's kind of like we got on a train and it's not stopping anytime soon, right?
Nope.
Okay, so I'm gonna end it now with our little opening again, with the logo opening. And Giselle, thanks again. Thank you so much for being so awesome and amazing and contributing so much to this story. I really could not have done it without you. I'm so glad that I found you and that you agreed to write this project with me, and that you've been just a gem. So thank you.
It was meant to be. The fact that your daughter and I have the same name, first and last name. It was.
I know, and that's one of the reasons I was like, I need to contact her, because it's funny, because I saw you because of that story of courage camps, and there was 3 of you, but I just reached out to you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I'm glad that I reached out to you.
It was so much fun, and we're about to have more fun with the next books that we write on. Adventures of Camila.
Yes.
Yeah.
And hopefully other projects tied along with it. So we'll keep everyone posted for sure.
Yeah. Thanks for all the love, everybody.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, everyone. Bye. Bye. Another last little. Bye.